Hi, my name is Sara Davis. I'm a Nighthawk Navigator at UNG, and today I'm here with Melissa Adams.
Hi, Sarah. I am Melissa Adams. I'm the Executive Director of Academic Advising here at the University of North Georgia.
That's great. And what is it about advising, and what is advising, and how does it affect students?
Sure. So academic advising across universities, especially here at University of North Georgia, is it's a resource that we offer for all of our students. So every student, when they come in to the university, is assigned an advisor based on their specific major. So that's important to note too, that if you change your major, it can change your advisor as well. So we have advisors who specialize in majors so that we can better assist students. But really, it is a support service where we discuss policies, processes. We are a contact resource for students. We go over degree requirements. We want to really meet students where their goals are. So a lot of our process is to discuss a student's interest and their abilities and their goals and tailor an educational plan toward those goals. And so again, it's an engagement process with students of what are their goals, and then how does UNG meet that? And then really just serving as a support resource so they have a connection on campus they can go to if they have questions. For example, if they have questions about if they need to withdraw from a class, what does that look like? What does that impact? What do I need to know? That advising is a perfect resource for that. And then a large part of what we do as well is based on our conversations with students is we refer them to additional support services or other departments that the university offers, because a lot of that is just educating students on the resources that are available to them to support their academic success.
So y'all can kind of be like a catch-all when it comes to them finding like where they need to go for their question if you're not the right person, basically.
Exactly. I tell students, if you're not sure who to ask, come ask us. And even if it's not us, we'll connect you with a resource
Yes,
that
that's
you want
great.
to connect with. Yeah.
And how does the advising level on a college level differ from high school? Because I know in high school, it's a lot more, I feel like it's not as helpful all the time.
Well, it's much more at the high school level, it's much more prescriptive in terms of everyone is following the same path to graduation. Now, you may take different pathways and you may take different electives, but really it's the same requirements for the most part for high school graduation through the state. The biggest difference is how prescriptive it is. So again, like you said, a lot of students do think of us academic advisors as equivalent to the high school counselor. And I guess at the college, that's probably the closest equivalent, but it's not the same by any means. And so the biggest difference in the college is that students have a lot more choice. And so the advisor is going to give information, but it's up to the student to take action on that. So we do build a student's first semester schedule when they're coming in as a freshman. We do build their schedule based on information they share with us of, if they have dual enrollment credits, what their major is, how sure they are of that major, what days and times do they want to take classes. So we get them started in that first semester, but beyond that, it's the advisor sharing information and the student taking that information, taking the action steps and going and building those schedules. It's also much more student driven than the high school. So I think from my experience working with high schools is that students maybe list what they prefer as classes, and then the counselor really gives them a schedule, and there's not a whole lot of wiggle room to maybe change that. But at the college level, students drive that. They lead the conversation. They tell us what their goals are, and then we give them options, but they really decide ultimately at the end of the day what their schedule looks like based on their lives.
I feel like it can be more helpful since they have a little more say, because even in high school, it's helpful to kind of know you're graduating, like you have the set semesters, but in college, they can take more or less classes if they need, so I feel like it's more beneficial.
Oh, it's much more
Yeah.
individualized. Yeah, because we have some students who, there's so maybe students who maybe taken 5 classes, or maybe students who've taken 3 classes. We all have different lives and commitments and work schedules and things like that. Yeah. So much more individualized at this level.
Mm-hmm. And what makes the advisor able to help in all these different ways?
So we do advising. Our knowledge base is pretty robust in terms of being able to connect students with various departments across campus based on individualized needs. So one way that we continue to support this is we actually continue to have training within our department. We have continued training with other departments on campus. For example, we meet with financial aid regularly for them to give us updates so that we know how to refer students. We will meet with the counseling department. We meet with tutoring. We meet with different departments as a group, as a department ourselves, so that we get updates from them so that we can best refer students. We are also directly connected with many academic departments on campus and faculty. So if there are updates coming to a program, we typically will get looped on that so we can go ahead and start helping students plan for that. And so it really is just keeping those open communication and then active, intentional meetings with the other departments to keep up to date on their information. So we're very intentional about keeping our knowledge base up to date.
That's great. And what are different ways that a student can contact their advisor?
So that's a great question. So there's several ways that they can contact us. So we do on all 5 of our campus, we do have an academic advising center. And so students can come into the advising center for information. Not all students are assigned to an academic advising center advisor. However, though, you may have a professional advisor. A lot of students are also assigned to a faculty advisor who are not housed within the centers. And so there's a couple of different ways that you can find out who your advisor is and how to contact them. So one way, if you need to know who your advisor is in your DegreeWorks audit. At the top of your DegreeWorks, it lists your advisor's name by your major. So it gives you their information there so you know how to reach out to them. Also in Banner on the student's Tran guide, if you go down to the academic information section, it lists your major. Right under your major, it lists your assigned advisor. It gives you their email address. And then right next to their name, there is a link there that says schedule an appointment. So if you click that link, it takes you to our online appointment system that's called adviseme.ung.edu. Little plug for that. If you click on that link, it'll take you to the calendar for advisor and you can make an appointment with them that way. Not all advisors utilize that appointment system. So if you log in and your advisor's not utilizing it, it'll direct you to email them. So email is a way that you can always reach out to your advisor as well. Whether you have a professional advisor, faculty advisor, email is a great way to contact them. And then, of course, the phone number. You can always call an advisor. So if you look on the UNG website and you go under directory, if you put your advisor's name in, it'll give you their contact of their email and their phone number. But there is a link on the Student Tran Guide to go in and look at their calendar and make an appointment.
I know I've used that where you like pull it up and then it kind of shows like a schedule and you can pick what time works and then like go
Right.
and say what
Exactly.
you need and all. So I think that's really helpful, or just like you said, always emailing them and see what works.
Right, exactly. So I like the calendar and that you can see availability and you go, oh, I'm available Thursday afternoon. They're open and you just make an appointment and it goes on both your calendars automatically. So it's not a back and forth system, but email is always a great way to reach out to your advisor as well.
Mm-hmm. And how can the advisors help schedule their classes if they have like kids or jobs or other obligations in life? How can meeting with their advisor help them figure out that schedule better?
So how do we get school to work around your lifestyle? Is that okay? So, and it's important. I would encourage students meet with your advisors early and often, especially if you have outside commitments and you're not as flexible time-wise with your schedule. Meet with your advisor because they can give you all of the potential options. So they can say, here's everything you need to be taking, here's the sequencing that you should be thinking about, but they could give you more than, plan A, plan B, plan C for a semester. And then with that information, you go and you register the schedule that works based time-wise for you. But if you don't meet with advising and you think there's only one option, then you may sort of restrict yourself more than you really need to. They're really good about saying, here's your options, but here's 3 other options that will work in this time frame. Pick the one that works time-wise for your schedule and your life.
That's good because I know scheduling is a lot and complicated.
Right. And it's important too, because there are some classes that may be only offered one time per year. And so the advisor can tell you as well, if you don't pick up this class in this semester, you're going to be delayed a year. And so that way you know to prioritize that specific class for that semester to keep you on track to graduation as well. So they kind of fit together in terms of what you need to take right now and what your options are to give you the most flexibility in your schedule.
Okay, that's good. And then is there anything specific you'd like students to know about academic advising?
Yeah, so I would say one big thing that I would encourage students, I think students over time learn this, but when you're first starting out, because you still have that high school counselor mentality, I would say I would encourage students to engage in the process. So Like I said, it's not as prescriptive as it was in high school. It's not for you to come in and we just give you your schedule and you walk away. It really is for you to come in with sharing what your goals are. How many classes do you want to be taking the next semester? Where are your interests? Are you wanting a minor? How long do you want to be in school? Do you want a 2-year degree or 4-year degree? Are you looking at grad school? You don't have to have all those answers in the first or second semester, so I don't want to feel pressure there. But as much as you can share about where you are in that thought process right at that moment will help your advisor sort of tailor your educational plan toward your goals. So it's a much more two-way interaction than it is at the high school level. So we really want to help you meet your goals. We're not here to tell you you should major in blank, you should do this. It really is tell us what you're here in college for, what's your motivation with us, and let's help you reach that end goal. So I would just say engage with that. And then if I had to give any other advice, it would be check your email every
Mhm.
day because that is how the university communicates with you. That's how your advisor may send you important updates. And that's how you can also communicate with your advisor as well. So that'd be my other little nugget. It's to make sure that you're checking your email all the time.
Yes, I know emails. I have it on my phone as well. That way I can like see it pop up if I know it's something important. I know to look at that later.
Yes, very good.
Is there anything else you would like the students to know?
Um, I mean, I think the email, I think I said see your advisor early. I would encourage students to be thinking about the process of next semester, even within the first several weeks of the current semester. So let's say, for example, in August, we start fall semester. You're just getting your feet under you, you're just starting classes, but really by September, we're already discussing planning for your January classes. And so some of that planning may be how you're feeling in your current classes. You may have sparked an interest in thinking about a major change based on a class that you're in. So the earlier that you can have these conversations and give yourself time to plan so that you can register really as soon as registration opens, because that gives you the best choice of classes as well. It really, if you're doing everything proactively and earlier, it's a much smoother sort of journey because you're ready. You're not feeling anxious when registration opens. You kind of know what your plan is. And then you have the best choice of course availability as you're registering early and you're prepared.
Yes. Well, so the biggest thing would probably be go early, have your plan early. If you have questions, reach out early.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's the other thing too. I would encourage students ask questions.
Hmm.
There are so many resources here at the university that you may not know about until you ask questions. So I would encourage students, if you don't know something, don't struggle silently. That's what the university is here for. That's why we offer tons of support resources and that our offices want to engage with students and offer that support. So I would encourage students, don't be hesitant, don't be shy to reach out. Even if you don't know where to go, stop by the advising center, ask your advisor. We'll connect you with those resources.
That's great. Well, those are the only questions I have. Is there anything else you'd like to say or add?
Um, no, I mean, I appreciate taking the time to be able to share this information. I would encourage students reach out, just connect with those resources. The people here at the University of North Georgia, especially in our support services, are here because we want students to succeed. And there are so many support services on campus designed to support students where we know that you need, especially that support in the first year, the second year. So just don't ever silently struggle. Connect with us, and we'll be happy to support you along the way.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you for doing this.
Sure. It was very nice to meet you, Sarah. Thank you.
You too.